Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have another very easy keto dessert recipe for you. We've got Valentine's Day coming up right around the corner, and probably one of the most popular desserts is red velvet cake. Well, I already have a red velvet cake recipe on my channel, so today I've got a little bit different twist, and I'm going to show you how to make red velvet cookie bars. Because if you're anything like me, I love cookies more than any other sweets. So I would definitely prefer this over red velvet cake. So if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out videos, at least every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So while you do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Line an 8 by 8 inch cake pan with parchment paper and allow the paper to hang over the sides just a little bit so you can easily lift the cookie slab out once it's done baking. In a large mixer bowl, combine 112 grams or around 1 cup of coconut flour, 100 grams or around a half cup of the granulated sweetener of your choice. I'm using granulated monk fruit sweetener. You can use whatever granulated sweetener you want. You can also adjust this more or less depending on how sweet you want your red velvet bars. Add 5 to 10 grams or around 1 to 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. You can adjust this more or less depending on how much of a chocolate flavor you want in your red velvet cake. Just remember, the more cocoa powder you use, the darker your dough is going to be, which means the more food coloring you'd have to use and the harder it's going to be to get that red color in your cookie bars. Add 10 grams or around 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and if you're oversensitive to the coconut flour taste, you can add some dry spices or some dry seasonings to kind of tone it down a little bit. Traditional red velvet cake does not have any type of spices or seasonings, but if you want to add some for a different flavor, that is up to you. You can do that. Sift all the dry ingredients all together until everything is fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 4 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so they stir in more smooth. If you don't want to use eggs, you can use flax or chia eggs. Also, if you're wanting a more firm, crusty type cookie, then you can reduce your eggs to 3 eggs instead of 4 eggs. I'm using 4 eggs because I like my cookie bars to have a crusty top but a nice soft center. Stir the eggs into the dry ingredients until everything is fully combined and all the dry ingredients are moist. Add a half cup of butter that's been melted and cooled. Make sure it is cooled. You do not want to add hot butter. If you want to keep this dairy-free along with the flax or chia eggs, you can substitute the butter out for coconut oil or margarine or any other dairy-free butter substitute. Stir the butter in until everything is fully combined. Add 120 grams or around a half cup of room temperature plain yogurt or sour cream. Again, you want this to be room temperature so that it combines well and you'd have a smooth dough. If you want to keep this dairy-free, you can use a dairy-free yogurt or a dairy-free sour cream substitute. That is up to you. Also for this, if you are wanting a more firm, crusty cookie, then you can substitute half of the plain yogurt for some more melted butter or the oil of your choice. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Stir everything all together until everything is fully combined and a smooth dough has formed. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the dough to the center of the bowl. Form the dough into a smooth ball. If you're using the flax or chia eggs, then you need to let the dough sit for about 5 to 10 minutes just to help it absorb any extra moisture and so that the flax and chia eggs can start binding with the other ingredients. If you're just using traditional eggs like I am, you don't have to worry about that. Form the dough into a smooth ball. Then massage the dough ball in your hands just for about 20 to 30 seconds. This is just going to test the texture of the dough and make sure you have the right texture. Your dough should be moist, but it should not be sticking to your hands. As you're massaging it, the dough should be holding its shape well, and there should not be any dry pieces falling off. If it feels like your dough is not holding together well, and it feels dry and pieces are falling off, then you just need to add very small amounts more of the plain yogurt or milk of your choice. If it seems like it's too wet and not holding its shape well, then just add very small amounts more of coconut flour until your dough is coming together well and holding its shape well. After you've massaged it and you have a good texture, form your dough back into a ball and place it back into your mixing bowl. Then use a wooden spoon and break the ball of dough up just a little bit. Stir in around 1 to 2 teaspoons of the red food coloring of your choice. Now, how much food coloring you're going to need depends on what brand you have and what type of food coloring you're using. I like to use gel food coloring because a little bit of gel food coloring goes a long way. So I only use about 1.5 teaspoons, something like that, of the gel food coloring, and it gives me a nice red tint to my cookie bars. It also can vary depending on how much cocoa powder you used. I used a little less than 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Just be careful, do not go crazy on your red food coloring. If you put too much food coloring in your food, you're going to taste it when it's baked. It's going to have a nasty chemical bitter taste, and you do not want that. Once the food coloring is all added and stirred in and you have your dough the right color that you want, gradually add about 6 ounces or roughly around 1 cup of the Keto white chocolate chips of your choice. I'm using Lily's white chocolate chips. You can use whatever white chocolate chips you want. You can also adjust this more or less depending on how many chips you want in your cookie bars, or if you don't want any chips at all, you can leave it out and just have a plain red velvet cookie bar. It still tastes good. If you are adding the chips like I am, make sure you just gradually add them. Sprinkle in a little bit, then fold them in. Sprinkle in a little bit more and fold them in. This just helps them to be more evenly distributed throughout your dough. That way they're not all clumped up in one place. Then once again, scrape down the sides of the bowl and push your dough to the center of the bowl. Spoon your dough into the center of your prepared cake pan. Then use your hands or the back of a measuring cup and press the dough evenly throughout the cake pan. Make sure you get it as even as possible and keep the top nice and smooth so you don't have any air bubbles. Once you have the dough all evenly pressed out, place the pan in your preheated oven. Bake at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes or until the edges have darkened just a little bit and a tester comes out clean. Once the cake is baked, remove it from your oven. It will be soft, but it will firm up as it cools. So allow it to cool in the pan for at least 1 hour or until it is firm. After at least an hour and your cake has firmed up, grasp the overhanging parchment paper and carefully lift the cookie slab out of the pan and transfer it to a wire rack. Then allow it to cool completely on the wire rack before slicing. Once the cookie slab is completely cooled, slice the slab into your desired size bars. I usually do about 12, but you can cut them into whatever size you want. Once it's been cut into your desired slice, let's try this bad boy out, see how it tastes. That's good. Has a nice good flavor. A little bit of a crusty top on top like it should. It's good. I like it. Yummy. You can eat these immediately. If you do have any leftovers, just store them in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 5 days or in an airtight container in your refrigerator for up to 1 week. You can also put these in a freezer-safe container and freeze them for up to 3 months. Eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.